Welcome to Landria, Onkka on YouTube, here to help you break through those fears and live an awesome life. I really struggled last couple days to really come up with things to talk about. We've talked about so much, and we can continue to talk about it till the cows come home, right? But, there's just always some kind of a cycle going on. There's always some kind of a struggle. And then there's some really great peaceful things, exciting things happen, and then there's struggle again. And that's part of the experience of being a human being. I think the toughest thing is to keep that level of excitement and joy up. It's a challenge because we're part of one energy. We are an individual expression of one energy, right? And being one energy means that, if I move this finger, you can see other things are moving and it affects everything in my body and there are messages going through. We're never completely independent. We're never independent of one another. I want to talk about energy today because I want you to understand, and I did a diagram. I should probably do it again soon. I did a diagram of what we are. There is a meditation that I did for you of pushing your energy out, connecting to energy. The reason why that is and can be so powerful for you if you really put yourself into it is that density is what blocks you from manifesting. Density is not connecting to all probabilities. It's actually focused on everything but that. It's focused on pain and frustration and anger and me. And that has nothing to do with tapping into all probabilities. When you tap into all probabilities, you're not even in the ego state. And that's energy. It's just a higher frequency. That's all it is. There's no judging. We create all this stuff about this entity and who's doing that and blah, 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 and all this other stuff. And really, its bottom line is we're just energy. We're energy on different frequencies. That's where sound and speed and, vibrational speed, it all matters. It all matters. So, and this is quantum physics. So I want you to ask yourself, are you vibrating a high frequency? If you're feeling no right now, so the answer to changing that is to get yourself in a more open, less dense state. So I want you to understand nothing's solid. Nothing. There's no particle that's solid. Well, we're made up of particles. What are the particles made up of? More pieces, of which more pieces. It's endless. It's infinite, right? Think about that. Scientists never address it. Well, here's the nucleus. And blah, blah. Well, what is that made up of? It has to be made up of something. Everything is open. Everything is open. It's really nothing solid. So the more you connect to that energy of which we don't see, we think we don't see it, that is the most powerful. What you don't see is the most powerful. Everything else that's dense is what is remaining in a seemingly static state. Like, right, this bottle or whatever, it's going to eventually turn into, dust eventually. How's that possible? Well, if it was truly solid, it wouldn't. It's not truly solid. It will break down. That means that something's able to get in there to break it down. That's no different with us, and that's all these bodies are. So they just break down at some point. Not in a negative way. They're actually going back out into the I say abyss, I don't mean that in a negative way. The abyss of all knowing, all probabilities of energy. We're just going back into our energy. We're transforming in and out, in and out, in and out. I want you to think of that. So we're all like, I'm a human being and I want this. And, and it's like, no, you are not really a human being. Nothing's really as it appears, but I know it seems that way to us. So we're going to work with our human comprehension of things right now. So everything, there's more space in your body than density. When you open up and you release all of the negative energy, so you're when you go into a negative state of, anger or fear, whatever, you're in a low frequency that's dense. It's more like this. There's no expansion in that. This is why you gotta let that go. You are just shifting into different places. You can shift right now into this out here where every probability exists. There's no such thing as time. So when I was in awakened state, I was told, I used to get messages, a little crazy, huh? I was told that everything is one thing happening at all times and that there is no such thing as time. What? By the way, that was quite a while ago, so I was like, so not understanding that. Everything's one thing happen, not simultaneously. Everything's one thing happening. It took me years to figure that out. I got the time thing. There's no such thing as time. That's tough because, we're on linear time. But my time's not the same as yours, so there really is no such thing as time. So, how can we all be one thing happening all at the same time and not simultaneously? It's not like you're happening and then I'm happening. You and I are one thing happening. That's what I was told. Everything's one thing happening. Everything that ever has, is, or ever will happen, and every probability of all of those, which of course is endless. People say, billions! No, it's endless. There is no end to all probabilities. And they're all running at the same time. In every time. Whether it's past, present, future. I know. Quantum physics, they've done experiments where they've actually changed the past. I know, let's not go there. I'll talk about that experiment. You can actually change the past with what you do here. And they would go back and check the results of something that they did, and they realized that what they had done now had actually affected what was happening, let's say, months ago. Let's say you do an experiment and it makes no sense what the results are. And let's say in a year, they do something that could affect this over here, and they matched. Does that make sense? The thing that they were doing here, all of a sudden the results back there that made no sense, made sense because that thing in the future had to happen for that result in the past. And it was already intelligently knew what that future event was. It was reacting on that future event already. So there are things happening right now based on future events that you've chosen, so you can change that, by the way. So you maybe have things happening now and make no sense at all. It's like, why is this happening to me? Sometimes the negative stuff, right? Some losing things or relationships or jobs or whatever that seem negative. And then later on you go, oh, that's why this is happening. It was opening me up for that thing that I really wanted up here showed up. And if I hadn't gone through this here that made no sense at the time, that wouldn't have come into my life because you're creating it. You're locking into that reality, that probability. But you have that choice. You have to lock into that probability, your energy. You're just locking into energy, everything that exists. So you get to decide and you get to be on that higher frequency. So if you go into a more open, expansive frequency, you expand yourself, you're out into absolute, there's no negativity out there. That's why, when we become light bodies, there's no density in that. We just connect to total light and love, and all the other stuff falls away. Right now, you're in all the other stuff. You can let go of that because you can access all of this up here. You're part of it. It's part of you. That energy affects you. But you still get to choose. So if you're choosing to be in density, if you're choosing to worry, if you're choosing about this material life, I need to be happy. I know. It's tough to give that up because you know darn well how good it would feel to have that money or that job or that relationship. Yeah, but I'm going to tell you right now, do that a few times and you'll realize it means absolutely nothing. And that you would be happier on a beach with a, not a high-paying job, doing what you love. Now, I'm not saying you have to go there. You can be wealthy and be happy and very productive in that. That's a choice. My point is that that is not the answer to your joy, and it's certainly not the answer to your higher frequency. And when you focus on your higher frequency, all probabilities exist for you. So you get to choose that. You get to bring all that stuff in because you're up on that level that doesn't care about the stuff. I know it's a little bit crazy, but that's the toughest part, is letting go of the density to go into this space where you can get anything you want, but you don't even care about it anymore. But it will show up. I have stuff show up that's mind-blowing. Just mind-blowing. I don't even think about it. You know why? Because the universe just gifts you things. Gifts. Probabilities. You thought about it. Oh, here it is. It's not thinking or judging. Not like, you deserve that, and you deserve this, and you deserve the wrath of God, and there's nothing outside of you. You're all that. You're the energy of God. Be okay with that. Can you be okay with that? Phrase it whatever way you want to. I'm sorry, it's just energy. We're just energy, and it's beautiful and awesome, and you're going to go to that high frequency again. Enjoy this experience, would you please? Don't miss out on it. And you can make it a positive one. You don't have to suffer. You can go through this experience and going, wow. Whew, this is what it feels like to be human. All right, I'm going to sit with this for a while. And then all of a sudden, anger and stress and worry and frustration goes out the door. It's like, I'm energy that can never be destroyed. I'm just going to transform. So what am I going to do with that energy now? How do I transform that energy now? Because you can do it in a split second. You can do it. That thoughts and beliefs are what stop us from expanding into that. When you let all that go, woo-wee, get ready, man. I'm telling you, the floodgates will open. You're going to go, okay, I got a story for you that's just crazy. You won't believe this one. Somebody's going to go, yeah, I do. I do believe it because you've changed. You're at peace. You're open. You're still human. Be okay with being human. By the way, you're not going to walk around like, the Dalai Lama, who also feels fear and anger. He's admitted to that. He just doesn't react to it. So he's not allowing the density to react to it. He sits with it. He experiences that energy. It flows through. Right? He allows the energy to flow through. There it is. He observes it. He's at peace with it. He still feels it. But he's not fighting, reacting, allowing it to fuel thoughts or beliefs or anger or, He says, okay, as a human being, I'm upset over a certain situation because it's unjust. It doesn't feel right. It feels bad. It feels bad. Okay, let's feel that. And let's let it go. Because those thoughts and feelings will not contribute in a positive way to whatever negative energy is coming along. In fact, the more you release it, the more you change that reality. You change it. When you're focused on the negative and you're pounding negative thoughts and feelings against it, it just fuels it. So think of everything as energy. You are energy. Did I show you my Tiffany bracelet? I manifested that. I've wanted its exact Tiffany bracelet, and it just showed up. It's pretty cool. Do I care? Yeah, it's fun to have it. Guess what? It's not going with me. Well, maybe they'll put it on my body, but I'm going to get cremated, so I might as well let somebody have it. So, energy. You're nothing solid. The more you expand into all probabilities, the more those probabilities can come in. When you come from a beautiful, positive place, you're an expansive, high frequency, and that's where all wonderful things reside, because they are not tethered down by anger or resentment or worry or any of that stuff. It just doesn't exist on those higher frequencies. So focus on your energy connecting to that. I am a pure, beautiful energy. All other things are just experiences. They're energies that flow through us as humans, that have the garbage that's carried through. That's okay. Let it pass through. I'm going to connect out here. And then instead of being all these little molecules in here, I'm going to spread them out. I, as an energy, am going to spread them out. Imagine your energy filling this room up and connecting to it. See, I actually feel that when I do that. like a whole electrical shock goes through my body when I do it. Because I'm aware of it, and it's reacting to me. Why? Because it is me, and it's intelligent. Just because I'm intelligent. Everything's highly intelligent. So it, as me, is reacting. Tap into it. Work on that. Do the energy meditation, and see what happens. You're going to see some things change. You're going to be more at peace. You're going to see other things react around you in a more positive way. You're going to start to manifest beautiful, positive things. You're going to be okay with situations that appear to be negative and that you realize are just transformation for you to go to something much more beautiful and open. And also your test to yourself to say, okay, now I have a challenge. How am I going to deal with this? And then you pass your test and say, I remained in that open, beautiful place. You look at it, wasn't a big deal. And this too shall pass, right? You're whole, perfect, strong, powerful, loving, harmonious, and happy. Blessings to you, my friend. You have access to everything. You are everything. Namaste.